With the second inning program coming to an end, it is time once again for the MLB The Show 25 tier list, where we rank basically every card in the game. Please, in the comment section down below, share some of the most underrated cards that you've had a chance to use on your teams this year. Leave a like if you guys do enjoy the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's go. But first, just a reminder, it's very different, MLB The Show, based on what difficulty you're playing on for online purposes. You start ranked seasons on veteran difficulty, and you can go all the way up to GOAT difficulty. And the difference between those two, veteran and GOAT, is probably about the difference from T-ball and the major leagues. Certain stats are more required. I'll try and keep things at a baseline and explain where needed. So here we go with catchers. S tier, brand new Carlos Santana, fantastic card. Problem, he costs 700,000 stubs. He's a very expensive guy, although he is very good. I would say Posada is a little bit worse, but he's also a quarter of the price, and you don't have to lock him in. You can sell him whenever you want him, so I kind of think Posada, value-wise, is the better pick, but for sure, two of the best catchers within the game, two switch hitters, and we'll talk about another switch hitter alongside a not switch hitter. Ted Simmons, I have loved. I've had a lot of success using Ted Simmons. He's got a really good swing. He, of course, switch hitter, hits both sides well. And this is something I want to get on a soapbox and say this quickly. I don't care about catcher defense. I really don't. Playing this game enough, I feel like I can solidly say for online play, catcher defense really does not mean much. If somebody chooses to steal with the Pete Crow Armstrong, with the Nelly de la Cruz, you are not throwing them out regardless. I've used catchers with cannons, howitzers of an arm that have 90+ arm strength. Can't do it. I'll pitch out, and I still can't get those guys. So it is what it is. And for a long time, fielding hasn't really meant anything. Arm accuracy, reaction, those don't do anything for catchers. Blocking is the only defensive metric I kind of care about, and even then, I don't notice a big enough difference. So for me, I'm all about hitting for catchers. That's from playing a lot. That's what I've noticed. So that's going to impact these rankings. Napoli, Ted Simmons, neither of them, any of these four are particularly good defenders, but they're all very good hitters. Napoli, of course, expensive. All these guys kind of expensive. If you want a top-end catcher, you're going to have to pay a little bit. But Ted Simmons' price is definitely falling a little bit. The National League Central Collection reward, you can't go wrong with those four. But if you don't have one of them, you start to look in the budget options, B tier, where you've got some good picks. Jason Varitek, he's pretty much Quixo value, who is in the multiplayer program. He's another switch hitter. If you're looking for a switch hitter, budget catcher, Jason Varitek is your man. Sammo Basallo, he's got a little arm strength. Maybe you could throw out like an 80 speed base stealer. Shea Langoliers, he does have catcher pop time. That quirk I do think matters. The problem, there's very few catchers that actually have it, and I wouldn't go out of your way just because a catcher has it. But it is nice if you like the card. He's got high power, lower contact, however. Tyler Soderstrom, another A's catcher, secondary, pretty decent option. He's a little expensive. I'm going to have a lot of live series cards ranked fairly highly because where we are within the power creep, we're still pretty early on. Guys with inside edge, like Will Smith, is going to play pretty close up to like a 90 overall on most days, and he just got upgraded. He's got a fantastic swing, one of my favorites for a right-hander ever in MLB The Show. The new Agustin Ramirez, also not a bad pick. Josh Gibson, if you picked him for John Donaldson within the Negro League collection, he's also solid. Ohapi, you've got a couple decent options at the B tier of catchers. Then you'll go down a little bit more. Cal Raleigh, the big dumper, they disrespected him. That guy cannot hit the ball. He might need a tee to be able to hit the ball. He's got lots of power, though, so if you connect, it's going to go a long ways, but the contact and vision just does not play. Carson Kelly, really strange that they gave a cycle A Topps Now card, that was also a little disrespectful. You've got a couple other options. Dalton Rushing was good for a while. Gary Sanchez is decent. William Contreras, Adley Rutschman, a couple live series catchers. Maybe play him up on inside edge. Otherwise, you keep going down. You probably had someone at B tier that I would recommend a little bit more. D tier, just some guys that aren't great. A lot of cards that came out early year, and then Joe Torre, who does not look particularly pleased to be placed in D tier. On to first base. No surprise. In the immortal tier, a cut above S tier is going to be Gil Hodges. I mean, he's fantastic. He's probably the second best hitter within all of MLB 25. He's really good. Slight problem, he cost about $1.5 million stubs. So, yeah, he's great. We know it. He's a tier of his own. S tier. Carlos Santana. He's only a mere $700,000, so he's cheap in comparison to Gil Hodges. But also, very good card. I think he's on a tier of his own right now for first base. And then you go to A tier. We've got some more reasonable picks. Anthony Santander from the New Threads collection. I know a lot more people have gotten to him at this point. He's really good, and you don't have to worry about his bad outfield defense. I do care about first baseman's defense, but not as much as a shortstop, second baseman, third baseman, or outfielder. You just kind of expect these guys don't really have great fielding. It helps, but I'm not going to kill them for it. Chase Headley, also very expensive card from the NL West. He's a switch hitter. He's not the most balanced I've ever seen. He's more of a defender. So I actually was almost close to putting him B tier at first base just because I think you should prioritize a hitter here. But overall, not bad. David Ortiz, Big Papi, very popular card. Like 300,000 green parallels. He's really been used a ton for good reason. He's got one of the best wings of the game. He's really slow, so you better hit it over the wall, or else it's a single. Maybe. If he hustles down the line. Pete Alonso and Rhys Hoskins, a couple of spotlight cards. They are nearly identical stat-wise. Pick which swing you like. I prefer Rhys Hoskins. And then Whit Merrifield, another collection card. Not a lot of pop. I love Whit for my bench because he can play in the infield. He can play first, up the middle, and the outfield. So he's a really nice replacement or a pinch hitter because he's got max contact against lefties. So he's definitely a decent option as well. B tier first baseman. You got the dog, Brandon Lau. Headliner, who's actually pretty good. He's got a great swing, like 6 quirks. Kind of a value option. Bryce Harper. Pete Alonso, couple Live Series cards. If they're playing up on inside edge, that Pete Alonso looks a lot like the 90 when he's playing up on inside edge. So you might not even need to get the program done if you don't want to. Don Baylor, really like that card, although I would suggest to platoon him. I would say don't do any more than 1 platoon per lineup just because you're using too much bench at that point. But he spanks lefties. He's got some big hits for my team. I really like him. Jackie Robinson. Going to see him on a lot of positions. He can play all over the diamond, so he's a nice pick as well. Jose Bautista also can play corner infield, corner outfield. He's got some power. He's got a good, no doubt, animation as well. Chris Bryant, brand new card in many seasons. Takes a while to get, but I think it's worth it. Another positional versatility darling, a Swiss Army knife that can play a lot of spots. He's a really nice option at first. Mark McGwire is kind of a good example of, he's got really great power. He's got good contact too. The vision is the problem. Vision, if you guys don't know, is what affects your timing window. I call it the bailout stat. Low vision means you've got to be really precise. If you've got high vision, you have a larger perfect window essentially. And since McGuire's got about 30 vision and needs LASIX, you've got a real tough thing on your hands here. And it's also going to impact the outer cone of your PCI. You're going to strike out more with Mark McGwire or cards with low vision. That's what it does. Stan Musial, like that card. He's my platoon with Don Baylor, Tony Clark, Tony the Tiger, switch hitter, and then Willie Stargell. Not a bad option as well, another headliner. C tier, you got a lot of cards here. We're getting to the point where there's a lot of diamonds, so we can't talk about all of them realistically. Anthony Rizzo, great swing. Try him if you want somebody new at first base. Freddie Freeman, too, when he's playing up on inside edge, get a little bit more power versus one side. He can be pretty fun, so that's a decent shout. Otherwise, a lot of the cards that came out early year, Babe Ruth, Frank Thomas, of course, they're good. Mark Canha, if you want a platoon, he's really good against lefties. Lance Berkman, that card is now very cheap. He's a switch hitter if you're looking for that. You've got Mitch Garver, also in that Chris Bryant mini seasons. Martin DeHigo, you're literally going to see him at every position today, but never quite too high. He's a jack of all trades, master of none. You got Pavin Smith, the new card in the pack. Good against righties, not so much against lefties. Vlad, also good on inside edge when you get him. And then D-tier, the new Brendan Donovan, a little unfortunate, not quite as good as I was hoping for. And you've got some more platoon options like Ryan Howard, Jonathan Aranda, JC Escara if you're looking for that. But first base, definitely one of those positions where you can get some very good cards. Santander's not too hard to get. Ortiz is free. Same as Pete, Rees. A lot of options at 1B. Unfortunately, I don't think the exact same could be said for second base. My S tier right now, Jorge Polanco and Ketel Marte. Polanco has dropped in price significantly. He's down to about $40,000, which is still a little pricey, and he's going to be outclassed at some point, of course. Second base is just one of those thinner positions, but he's a great option. He's got like 90 contact and power versus righties and lefties, switch hitter, really good stuff. Ketel Marte, he's back, he's healthy again, so he's going to be playing up on inside edge. He can play a handful of other positions. He's another switch hitter, which adds a bunch to his value. Go to A tier, we've got some nice picks, which a little bit more affordable, I would say. That Ozzie Albies is like 8,000 stubs, if that. He's great. He's been one of my best cards since I got him. Ozzie Albies and Ryan McMahon have been my second baseman for quite some time now. Albies, if you want a switch hitter, you can't get much better for free than Ozzie. And then Ryan McMahon, he's close to free. He's in the Easter egg hunt program. You gotta buy a couple of cards, but they're very cheap. He's so good. He's got one of the best swings. Contact and power through the roof, top of the meta right now, and really good fielding ratings as well at second and third base, being his primary. So I liked those two cards quite a bit. Jason Kipnis, when I completed the Central, I used him extensively as well. I think him and Chase Utley are almost identical. Utley is a lot cheaper, but of course, you kind of need Kipnis if you eventually want to get Beltran. But both of them are very balanced, like an upgraded Travis Bazzana, I would say. Kyron Paris, Spotlight Program. Great card. A little low on vision, that's the only knock, but otherwise a dog and a half. He's really good. We talked about Whit Merrifield and Jackie, Mookie Betts. Handful of spots he can play. Very good card once again. Not quite as fast. Again, I always talk speed is an offensive attribute. If you put the ball in play and you got high speed, you can take an extra base, and that's what makes speed so valuable. It's not all about stealing or not all about defense. It's very important, of course. Feels obvious, but a lot of people don't recognize that. B tier, Alex Bregman, really like that card. He's a free one in the collection. Yeah, Brandon Lau once again, Gleyber Torres. I was tearing the cover off the ball with Gleyber Torres for quite some time. I really liked him as my second baseman. Travis Bazzano's my first parallel 5 this year, and it hurt to take him out of my lineup. He's very good. Junior Caminero led me to a 10-win Battle Royale, which we got about 200,000 stub reward. A little bit better. He's great, Junior Caminero. Christian Campbell, he was coming out at launch. He's still pretty good. Larry Doby, he is in the Jackie program, so you get him alongside that. Very good card. Can play second, can play short, can play outfield. Leodalis DeVries, switch hitting, shortstop / second baseman. He's great. He was supercharged for a bit. He's still really good. Tommy Edmond, another switch hitter. Then you got Westberg, Jazz Chisholm, JJ Weatherholt, some free cards if you guys play the programs. Those are all good options. C tier, noticeable step down. Carson Williams, I liked a lot at shortstop. You do lose the 90-plus fielding gate, so he goes down to gold defense instead of diamond, which does suck, limits his value a little bit. Otherwise, Jackson Merrill, again, some of these inside edge cards, live series get really good on daily matchup ratings, so always keep an eye for that. You've got Javier Sanoa, who I think is also a decent little card, solid. Keep saying the same adjectives. Matt Shaw, he's good. Chase Meidroth, fun. D tier. Probably don't need any of these cards. Got a couple fun ones. Maybe you use like Bryson Stott earlier on in the year. Luke Keeschel for my Twins. Joe Morgan, my favorite elbow shaker. But again, second baseman. The top tier guys, expensive, but definitely some free ones. Kyron Paris, Ozzie Albies, that you can get pretty easily for A tier. Really good cards. Third base, of course, we've got the immortal Scott Rowland with his brand new collection, brand new legend coming into MLB 25, and he's awesome. He's exceptional. He's one of the best defenders in the game. He's got nearly maxed out fielding ratings. He's got 100 plus on pretty much every offensive attribute. He's really good. Obvious. He's immortal. He's a class above everyone else. S tier, we've got Chase Headley once again, Polanco, and Ryan McMahon. I think those guys are very good at third base. It's really tough to narrow this down, so I just put 6 cards in S tier. That's kind of rare. But otherwise, we got Gino Suarez. He does have lower vision, of course. He's going to have some issues with that if you're playing on the higher difficulties, but he's got tons of power, and he's got 80 plus contact both ways, so that is pretty damn good. And he's 80 plus fielding, so overall pretty well rounded, just a little low vision. Jose Ramirez. It sucks that he has no secondaries this year. In years past, he could play maybe up the middle. He could play corner outfield. This year, it's just third base. I know a lot of people who've gotten Scott Rowland are like, shit, what do I do with J-Ram? He's too good not to play. You might have to DH him at that point, to be honest, because switch hitter, if you get him parallel 5 and plus inside edge, he's going to be near 100 plus on every contact and power rating, which is ridiculous for an 89. He is so good, and he's got 80 plus speed as well, with nearly 80 fielding. It's crazy. I think he's the best non-collection card that you can buy in the game. He's awesome. Rafael Devers, also very good. The fielding isn't great. Now, third base. My thoughts on third base defense. Nobody's quite as good as you would think. So at shortstops, you really notice the defense, like a Bobby Witt Jr., because they've got more time to get to these balls. You know, they're deeper in the hole. The hot corners called that for a reason. Even guys like Scott Rowland don't always react that quick. I've used some really good third basemen. Adrian Beltre, he would still make bad plays. A little bit better than Jose Ramirez, and quite a bit better than Rafael Devers. But I don't value third base defense quite as much as shortstop or second base or outfield for that matter, just because it's kind of a problem for everybody. So that being said, Devers can swing it, so he's S tier. A tier, I put Chipper here. I don't really know how to feel about that. I don't love the card. His batting clutch, which again, clutch is the rating that replaces your contact when runners are in scoring position to determine your PCI size. Normally it's contact versus hits per 9. Then with runners in scoring position, it goes to batting clutch versus pitching clutch. And Chipper Jones has like 70. So that harbors him significantly. He's very good against lefties, but he's like 70s against righties and like 70 fielding. He's a switch hitter, but still not an amazing card. I would probably, again, talk about free cards. I would probably go Chris Bryant or Jackie Robinson over this Chipper Jones realistically. If you could have Ryan McMahon, I would pick that too. Josh Young, who's in Diamond Quest, I would take him over Chipper Jones. Young crushes lefties, same as Chipper, and he's about the same against righties, but he's got better fielding. He's got better clutch. I think the card is a little bit better overall. Noelvi Marte, he's brand new in the standout or the spotlight pack, whatever the hell they're calling it this year. He's good. He used steroids. You'd expect that, right? B tier. Got both the new Ellies here. They're very similar. I mean, 86 and 90. If you got a couple parallels on the Live Series Ellie with inside edge, very similar. If you have parallel 5 Ellie, he might actually be better than the 90. which is what it is. I mean, not everybody has the Live Series Ellie, so it was a fun little program. It was quick and easy, but definitely not way better Ellie de la Cruz card. Honus Wagner. They put him in that collection the day that Scott Rowland dropped, the 20th anniversary collection. He's good. He's kind of like a cheaper Bobby Witt Jr. I don't know exactly how much that collection would cost to finish, but he's not having a lot of power, but he's fast with good defense, can have some secondaries, and he's got near 100 contact per side, which is definitely going to play. We've got Marcelo Meyer here for the Red Sox. Decent little card alongside, you know, J.J. Weatherholt, another one of those young studs. Jordan Lawler, I know a lot of people love that card. I liked him when he first came out too. Terry Pendleton, I've not had success with him. I know a lot of other people did, so we got to give him his due respect. Troy Gloss, they just put out mid-headliners. I don't know what it is. They refuse to put out, like, wow, eye-popping headliners. I feel like every headliner we've seen has pretty much been B tier, maybe an A tier mixed in here and there. Here's Beltre, like I was talking about. Again, the fielding, you just don't really notice it as much as you should. So unfortunately, he's C tier. You've got Brooks Robinson, kind of for similar reasons. There's Kobe Mayo, David Wright, a couple solid 85s. Again, a lot of these guys are probably outpaced. You've probably got better options, but there are some studs. Gunnar Henderson, if you get him on inside edge. There's the free Scott Rowland, if you're looking for that one. Kyle Seager, a lot of people like this card. Got Matt Shaw, who I loved early on in the year. Wrap Dixon, important reminder, kids, please wrap your Dixon. And then D tier, bunch of 85s. Some cards that you could use if you so choose. But once again, third base shouldn't be too hard to facilitate a good option. Shortstop is a very interesting position right now. There really has not been that one card to move ahead of the others, in my opinion. I think the best shortstop is probably whoever you have out of these three, whoever's got the most parallels, and who's ever got the best inside edge. I've been using Bobby Witt Jr. Lindor's a switch hitter, as is Ketel Marte. You get the best fielding and speed with Bobby Witt Jr., which, like I've said, really you do notice in the hole there at shortstop. Lindor is like the second best defender. Then you got Ketel Marte playing at a secondary. Overall, Lindor and Marte are probably your best hitting options, but if you want all-encompassing, maybe you go Bobby Witt Jr. It's up to you. I think they're all very close, very good cards, but they're all very expensive. That's the problem. So who do you get if you need a cheaper or a free option? Kyron Paris, once again, I think he's very good. Highly recommend that you guys try the card out. He used to be good. He was great like the first 2 weeks of the season. Now he sucks. But luckily, this card is reflective of those weeks where he was good. You got Honus and Jackie, Leo Dallas once again. Mookie Betts makes a return. Carlos Correa for the first time. The card is expensive. He's like 30, 40K, but with the Weekend Classic coming this weekend, there's going to be rewinds for him and Corey Kluber. So those cards are going to go dropping down in price. If you want to get him, he's probably going to be about 10,000 or so this weekend. Definitely keep an eye on that. B tier, again, I have Beltre higher here because shortstop fielding matters more. And even though he's playing at a secondary, it translates well. Corey Seager, I wish dearly he was faster. Got like 20 speed that's really hard to utilize on the bases because he doesn't have the most power in the world, but he does have my favorite swing of the world. I absolutely love using Corey Seager cards. You've got the Alleys, once again, Dansby Swanson, if you want just a juggernaut defender. Carson Williams, I parallel 5'd him. Fantastic defender with some pop. Jordan Westberg, J.J. Weatherholt, Larry Doby. Some free cards that you guys could try out once again. Some shockers here, you know, like a 91 O'Neal Cruz, I just don't think is that good. We'll talk a little bit more about him, but yeah, you know, that's the problem with the power creep is sometimes they just butcher cards. You know, you can only make them so good, and that O'Neal Cruz has no vision. He can't hit lefties. It's unfortunate. Noelvi Marte there too. Ozzie Smith. I want to talk about Ozzie for a second. Very good card. He was free within this XP path. If you got there, it was like 240,000 XP. He is power versus one side. The other side, it's kind of tough. But the defense, the speed, the switch hitting, and the contact with like 70 power, I think it's against righties he has that. He's actually pretty damn good. I was shocked at how well I did with that Ozzie Smith card. So give him a shot if you are looking for a shortstop. C-tier shortstops, you got Jacob Wilson, who we thought was a pretty good card this year. Very good player this year. He's excelling in his rookie year. Shout out Jack. Loved watching him when I was a kid. Otherwise, you got Brennan Donovan, Meidroth, once again. Jeter at shortstop. A couple other okay ones. D-tier, kind of round things out. I gave Michael Young D-tier. I love the card hitting, but he's got 50 fielding. I have to have at least maybe 70, probably higher. I would prefer 80 plus at shortstop because you really do notice it. So overall shortstop, once again, top guys I think are expensive, but you can definitely get some nice options for cheap or free. And finally, for offense, we'll move on to the outfield. Now, this is a little interesting because outfield is a lot different this year. They've really segmented secondary positions. So this is how you can plan on this going forward. If it is a center field card, even if they don't have left field or right field secondaries, be comfortable playing them in corner outfield. They'll lose 4 or 5 points, just like a secondary. It is fine. However, do not put a corner outfielder who doesn't have center field or secondary, don't put them in center field because they'll lose a lot of points. For example, I looked at Tim Raines. He's like an 80 fielding defender. He went down to like 35 because he doesn't have center field or secondary. Very good outfielder. He just, well, I'll show you right here in the game. Tim Raines, he goes down to 42 fielding, 43 reaction, where normally that card, he's got 84 fielding, 86 reaction. So that's very tough. But on the flip side, Ken Griffey Jr., who's got 79, 78, center fielder who cannot, according to the gameplay, the corner outfield, well, he only loses a couple points. 75 fielding, 74 reaction. And I've played a lot with guys out of position. You trust what those ratings say for the outfielders. I've had no issue with like Mickey Mantle in left field. I used Walker Jenkins in left field for some time, but again, don't try having a corner outfielder play center field. That being said, too, definitely want to have fast guys. Reaction is king. It's very important, and it's a big difference for outfielders with their defense, so that's going to impact my ratings here. With a guy like Aaron Judge, who's slow, with bad reaction and poor fielding, you really get hit hard. I'll talk more about that in a second, but Immortal Tier is Carlos Beltran. That's not close. That's pretty obvious. He's the best card of the game by a lot and for a long time. He's really good. I can't wait to get him. S Tier, a cut below. You got Brian Reynolds, Corbin Carroll, Fernando Tatis Jr., and Ken Griffey Jr. Are these all the best hitting cards of the game? They are not, but they're good hitting cards that can also actually field, which is very important. You've got Tatis, who's got, I believe, close to Diamond Shield defense. With a couple parallels, you might get him in there. No, he's got 84, but max arm, which is pretty damn good. Carroll, Reynolds, and Griffey all solid as well from a combination of speed, fielding, and reaction, which are the 3 key ones. You want good arm strength too, but if you can't get to the ball in a timely fashion, the arm is not going to save you. That's not how this game works. So A tier, we've got some great hitters like Aaron Judge, like Yordan Alvarez, like Anthony Santander, like Juan Soto. I would not personally play those guys in the outfield. Maybe you could get by with one if you have a Pete Crow Armstrong type guy in your outfield, but it is very tough. You definitely notice them. You're always going to notice them. If you want to use those guys in the outfield and not use them at DH, I would suggest playing at a stadium with shorter fences. You know, play at Yankee Stadium with Aaron Judge so he doesn't have to run as far. And then supplement him with a very quick center fielder. I think that's the only way you could do it. Otherwise, I normally play at Ship Stadium. I can't utilize these players. Aaron Judge, he's my DH. He's fantastic. He's the best hitter, non-collection card in the game, but it is what it is. He's got to take up my DH spot because he cannot field. Same thing goes as a Yordan Alvarez. Same thing goes with Juan Soto, Anthony Santander. It's tough. There's a lot of new animations this year where fielders don't pick up the ball or they just miss it when they're going to run and catch it. It sucks, but it's give and take, at least right now, early on in the power creep. Pete Crow Armstrong, however, is the antithesis of that. He is the complete opposite. He's not the hitter that anybody else on this tier is, but he is max fielding, arm accuracy, reaction, and speed. That plays. If you can hit 250, 300 with him, you will be thankful to have Pete Crow Armstrong on your team. If nothing else, have him on your bench for a defensive replacement. So, love all these guys. I think they're very good. That's just my explanation for it. Shohei, honestly, I'd feel a little bit more comfortable with him than like a Judge, but Judge is a better hitter. So, do your outfield as you please. We'll move on to B tier, where there's a lot of cards. There's so many outfielders in the game, and again, I try and balance things out between hitting and fielding and speed. You've got some nice guys here. Used Manny Ramirez a bunch, parallel 5'd him, Mike Trout. Rest in peace, my friend. Come back at some point. He lost a lot of contact within the last roster update, so he's a little bit difficult to use. You've got Raul Ibanez, actually kind of a fun card. JD Martinez, again, same thing. Use him at your own discretion. Your mileage may vary. Great hitter. Just does not bring a mitt to the ballpark, unfortunately. You've got Larry Doby, Stan Musial. We've talked about them a little bit. Ted Simmons, who can play outfield as well if you want to. He's got like 60 speed. Steve Finley, expensive card for the D-backs collection, but very good swing. Trent Grisham. He's not fast, but he's very balanced. He's got 80 plus, high 80s on pretty much all his hitting. He's a great card. Wyatt Langford came out recently, not enamored with him. He's like a slightly better hitting, slightly worse fielding Pete Crow Armstrong. At that point, I'd rather just stick with Pete, who has a little bit more fielding, because he does what he does best, you know? He's not trying to cosplay as a good hitter like Wyatt Langford is with that card. Walker Jenkins, I love him. C tier, some solid options. The new Christian Yelich, just can't really hit lefties. Vision's low, not a great fielder. You got Corbin Carroll. If you don't want to grind for the program, you get this Carroll. He's not that much worse than Lightning Carroll, which is kind of insane to say, but it's true. Inside edge is pretty cool. You've got some other options. Andre Dawson, a flawless card at C tier is insane, but goes to show how good the flawless cards have been this year. Otherwise, a lot of picks. Do you want defense and Max Clark? Do you want power and Kyle Schwarber? Do you want 30 speed and Kyle Tucker? The choice is yours. There's so many picks for the outfield. I couldn't even fit every diamond on here if I tried. There is so many options. Please let me know in the comment section. Who are you using in your outfield right now for your Diamond Dynasty team? Right now, I'm kind of at a loss. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. Right now, I've got Carroll in right, got Griffey in center, and Tim Raines in left field. I think there's some great cards you can get for free, great cards you can get for cheap. You know, like Griffey if you went and got him in the boss pick, Carroll if you played through the 5 programs to get the Lightning collection. But of course, the best of the best is always going to be paid. Starting pitching. Once again, we've got a clear number one, a clear ace. That's Roger Clemens, the Rocket. He's by far and away the best pitcher. When you've got a 99 pitcher facing, for the most part, 90 overall hitters, the pitcher's typically going to win if you hit your spots. He is as close as you can get to an automatic win. I was lucky enough to get him. I went after the American League first, and I do not regret it. S tier. Some other great pitchers. Now, John Donaldson is free at this current point because you don't need, with the new storylines coming out, you don't need to get the Josh Gibson out of the XP path. You don't need to get Martin Dihigo out of World Series. If you play the Jackie program, the Jackie Robinson Day Conquest, I believe there's a showdown. If you play the storylines, all that, you're going to get John Donaldson for free, which is pretty good. He's probably the second best, third best pitcher in the game. He is so tough to hit. You're going to want to get him. Randy Johnson is also great. Highly recommend him. Problem is he's 200,000 stubs, but he's probably worth it if you want to get an edge on your opponent for the Weekend Classic. So those guys, that's my top 3. A tier, some great cards, great picks. Andy Pettitte, I've raved about him to no end. He threw back-to-back complete game shutouts to get me into World Series. He got me into the Diamond League 900 plus for this Weekend Classic. He pitched me into that. He might be my ace of all aces. He almost pitches better than Clemens for me at times. And I definitely think the cutter is king. The cutter is the pitch that you want. People are using switch hitters. That's the meta. Cutters are great for going inside on them. If you can locate them, which in order to do so, you have to take a little hit on velocity and you have to be a better command pitcher. Command over hard stuff. Cueto, Logan Webb, exact same concept. Those kind of guys pitch exceptionally well against opposite-handedness, where a Paul Skeens, for example, is going to have more difficulties because he really doesn't have any pitches going away, going arm side. Otherwise, A tier, Fernando Valenzuela. He is awesome. He's very expensive. Shohei Ohtani, he's very good. He's also expensive. But if you get Ohtani, you kind of get Valenzuela. You still have to get Mookie and Freddie and Tyler and Will Smith and Blake Snell. A lot of diamonds there for the Dodgers, but that is my A tier. That's 5 that I would recommend on that front, who are very good. Cueto's free. Logan Webb is close to free. The other guys, not so much, although Pettitte's only about 60, 70K, rising every day until the next multiplayer program when he's going to cheapen out a little bit. B tier, some guys that I'd absolutely recommend. Al Leiter, used him for quite a bit. Got a lot of starts with him. He's pitched great for me. Corey Kluber, kind of a hit or miss. I've hit him a lot, but I've also pitched pretty well with him. So I think Kluber's a decent shout. You've got Bob Gibson. He does not have outlier, and he's not that accurate. So kind of in a weird middle ground, but he's still Bob Gibson, so he's still pretty good. Corbin Burns, he's always going to be solid. Sinker cutter combo, a lot of people like that card. Dustin May, good per nines, good pitch mix, good mechanics, funky motion, tough to hit. Pars are a little big, tough to control with him, especially on the higher difficulties as you get up there. And again, if you hit a perfect pinpoint, doesn't really matter because it could go anywhere with the high par. That's the whole concept and why control is very important. I think control is more important than velocity, more important than just overall stuff, in my opinion right now. Because if it's not hung over the middle, it's a lot harder to hit. Gaylord Perry, the Lord of the Gays. He's solid there for the Guardians in that collection. Jake DeGrom for the Easter Egg Hunt collection. Not bad. I don't think he's required. There's probably better pitchers. Chris Bubich, solid pitcher overall. A little expensive. Moose Knuckle, Mike Musina. Good. Very great control. Noah Schultz, long time. He's been great. Same as Walker Buehler. 2 free cards there at the end. If you guys are looking for them, then C tier guys, I'd recommend a little bit less. Chris Sale, if you get him on inside edge. To be honest, Sale, Skeens, or Tarek Skubal, any of those guys on inside edge are going to be pretty startable options. You've got a couple expensive collection guys. Johan Santana, Jordan Zimmerman. Wasn't enamored by either of them when I got the National League East done. Unfortunately, they're just not quite as effective as I wanted. You've got Matthew Liberatore, who came out the other day. Pretty nice control pitcher. CC Sabathia, mini seasons. Pretty slow to the plate. I know a lot of people don't love that. Greg Maddux, the master of control. Garrett Crochet, decent option. Edric Cabrera, he's nasty. Not as nasty as MLB 21, but he's still pretty good. Ubaldo Jimenez, really like that card even still. You've got a lot of guys, a lot of options in B tier or in C tier. Going to D tier, some guys that I see be pitched online that I don't think are the best. If you have to start them, but I think there's certainly better options. I just see these guys well. I hit them. You see them a lot, which doesn't help to make them any tougher to hit because you're used to seeing them. That's how I'd rank pitchers at the current moment. There's a lot of good ones that you can get for free or very cheap. Just pick 5 here. Johnny Cueto, Logan Webb, Bob Gibson, Dustin May, Mike Mussina, Noah Schultz, or Walker Buehler. Like, that's a very good starting 5. Or John Donaldson. I forgot he's free. Unfortunately, the Rocket is not. Maybe at one point. But pitchers, you can definitely field a good rotation pretty cheap. And finally, the arm barn. We'll start with the right-handers. Darren O'Day. Not quite immortal, but he's very good. He's a tough one to hit with his mechanics, and he's got the most control you could ever imagine with really good hitting K per 9 as well. You can dot sliders wherever you want them to, and he's got a circle changeup, a sinker, and a four-seamer to add on to that. He's great. He's expensive. You have to get the ALEs collected, but he's definitely worth the price of admission. A tier, brand new Andres Munoz from the Spotlight Pack yesterday. He's really good. They gave him a 4th pitch. They gave him a changeup, which makes him a lot better than if it was just slider, sinker, four-seam. He's very good. Little bit big pars, but at this point, he's got maxed out hit 9. You can't really bitch about that. Jonathan the Weisiga, he was a headliner that was actually kind of good, so I stand corrected. He's like 15, 20K. Give him a shot. He's really good. He's always been great. Lucas Ursig, you get him for playing Diamond Quest. This is one of my most recommended pitchers for Weekend Classic because he is essentially free if you play Diamond Quest, or he's about 10K on the market. Get Lucas Ursig. He shreds me when I face him, and I dominate my opponent when I use him. He's very tough to see. Trevor Hoffman, a little bit more expensive. Tatis is a lot more expensive at this point, so it makes Trevor Hoffman less obtainable, but he's very good. Really great control for him, great pitch mix. Trevor Hoffman is always really good at the game. You got B tier, Adam Ottavino, also a Diamond Quest guy. I don't know why the dirt is red behind him. That's kind of crazy. Is that lava? Is that Bowser's Lair? Otherwise, Luke Weaver, the Dream Weaver, he was a solid card introduced yesterday in the program. You've got Michael Kopech at the beginning of this multiplayer program. A lot of free cards. Once again, Raleigh Fingers, Yimi Garcia, Rich Gossage. If you play the multiplayer program, you can get him for free, or he's like 4 or 5K on the market. A stark contrast to when he was about 150K a few weeks ago. Rob Dibble, Matt Brash, couple more picks. C tier, got Bruce Sutter, Kenley Jansen, Mason Miller. I don't think he's that good. He's four-seam slider changeup. If you really struggle with velocity, Mason Miller's going to give you fits, but he's not that great on top of that. He misses out on like a cutter or a sinker, a true meta pitch. Sean Jelly, Thomas Harrington, then rounding out David Robertson and Liam Hendricks. And finally, to get this very exhaustive video over, lefty relievers for Season 2. This is to round out the tier list. We got S tier, Aroldis Chapman and Gregory Soto. Love these two guys. Aroldis Chapman is great this year. Last couple years, I've been a little hit or miss with him. This card, I've really excelled with. He's been great. And he's pretty affordable, too, within that New Threads collection. Gregory Soto, he's like 4 or 5K, I believe, on the market. He's one of the best. Well, I'd say he's the second best lefty reliever in the game right now. He's awesome. Highly recommend. He's got sinker cutter combo. Not the most BB9 on either of these two, but great pitch mix at a very thin position is going to really rank high. Danny Kalum, Matt Strom, Hobie Milner. We got some gold cards. Really goes to show how thin this position is. Kalum, Strom, they've got great pitch mixes, really good arsenals, which helps them be better, and they've got inside edge buffs as well pretty much every day. Hobie Milner, some people can hit him. He's kind of like Darren O'Day. He's a cheaper Darren O'Day who's got such good control, funky mechanics, can be tough to hit. I'd like to have him in my bullpen kind of as a little litmus test, because some people can't touch that guy. John Franco. If he had better per nines, he would be up in S tier. John Franco's always one of the best relievers within DD at the lefty position. He's just missing out on some of the attributes, but still one of the best. Highly recommend him. He's probably my third best at the current point. B tier, Andrew Miller, Billy Wagner, Jose Alvarado, Josh Hader, Mark Davis, and Tanner Scott. Not the most ideal pitch mixes, or they've got some questions on some of their per nines. I think you should probably carry 3 lefties and then 5 righties in your bullpen. That's what I do. I think that is usually what works best. it really doesn't matter at this point because you just face 9 switch hitters anyway. So honestly, you could have 9 lefties. You could have, doesn't matter. Just roll a die and see. 6 lefties, 3 righties. Okay. That's just where we are right now. C tier, we got Gold, Aroldis Chapman, and Gold Tanner Scott. That's how I'd flesh out the lefties. Pretty cheap overall to fill out some of the best. And there we have it. That is the Season 2 tier list of MLB The Show 25 heading into this weekend where we get Season 3 and some higher overall cards that are surely going to rank higher. We're always updating this on stream. Check it out, twitch.tv/GomesDaLegend. We go live there pretty much every single day. We're going to be playing the Weekend Classic. I'm very excited for it. Right now, we are slated to be playing in Diamond League, currently sitting at 32-7, and that's how we're going to flesh out our team. This is currently what I'm rocking and rolling with heading into the Weekend Classic this weekend. Pretty good team overall. I'm liking it quite a bit as we close down on the overall live series collections, where we've got very few cards left to collect. So maybe we're going to have a couple more big ones to add on to our squad for this big event. So let me know in the comment section some of your favorite cards in MLB The Show 25. If you guys did enjoy this video, please leave a like down below. Thank you if you watched to the very end. You're a legend.